In this video, I will be talking about Victoria Skill Nomination Visa 190 and 489. Let us start with the eligibility first. First eligibility criteria is age. You must be below age 45 to lodge an application for the Skill Nominated Visa subclass 190. Then you should meet the English language requirements as specified on the visa nomination occupation lists. All application must have an international English language testing system score of at least 6 in each band score. So score of 6 is required in IELTS. Your occupation has to be in the visa nomination occupation list for Victoria or visa nomination occupation list for graduates. So there are two different lists. So for PhD holders, another list is then international PhD graduates. The Victorian government offers a streamlined pathway for visa nomination for international PhD graduates. Applications will be priority processed within 2 weeks and applicants must meet all eligibility requirements to apply. So if you have done a PhD outside of Australia, then also there is a high chance of getting this nomination, because for international PhD graduates there is a separate stream and there is a priority processing as well. Then let us take a look at finances, like how much money you should have in your pocket when you are applying. If you are working in nominated occupation, then $20,000, that much amount you need to have in your account. Not working in nominated occupation, then offshore requirements are given over here, you can see there. If you are individual applicant, then you need 30,000 Australian dollars at the time of application. Then if you have one dependent, then $35,000, two dependent, $40,000, and so on. So more dependents, you will have to have more finance available with you. Like if you have 6 or more, then $80,000 you need to have in your bank account. Then another criteria is there of offer of employment. That means you will only get the nomination for these visas if you have offer of employment. And conditions are you are currently living in another Australian state, or you are an international graduate and it is a requirement for your occupation on the visa nomination occupation list for the graduates. So in these situations, you need to have offer of employment. Otherwise, you don't need offer of employment. Then commitment to Victoria. You must commit to living and working in Victoria for at least 2 years. If you are currently living in another Australian state, you will need to provide a current Victorian job offer in your nominated occupation to support your visa nomination application. Then there is some declaration that you need to sign. Detailed resume or curriculum vitae is also required. Skills assessment, that is also required. Skills assessment must match the occupation you have nominated. And apart from that, Department of Home Affairs requirement, that is general requirement that is required by the Immigration Department. Now let us see how to apply for the Victorian visa nomination, ICT nursing, engineering and building occupations. Due to the high number of applications that Victoria receives in ICT nursing, engineering and building occupations, they have got separate different application process for these occupations. The aim of this is to reduce processing times and hopefully improve your experience with our program. To apply for a Victorian nomination, follow these steps. So if your occupation is in this ICT nursing, engineering and building, they need to follow these steps. Need to check you meet the Department of Home Affairs and Victoria's requirements. So there are two different requirements, one from the Victoria state and another from the Department of Home Affairs requirements. They need to submit the expression of interest. If selected, an email invitation to apply for Victorian visa nomination will be sent to your email address used for the expression of interest. Then you can submit the online application for Victoria visa nomination within 14 days. If you are nominated by the Victorian government, you will receive a skill select invitation to apply for the actual visa, and then you can submit the visa application. Exemptions from this process. The application process is for ICT, nursing, engineering and building occupations only. The process that I described earlier is only for the occupations ICT, nursing, engineering and building occupations. For PhD recent graduates, there are different pathways. For other occupations, there is a different process. As you can see here, prepare these documents: CV, skill declaration form, assessment, English language, and evidence of license, copy of the PhD completion letter, and all these documents are required. Then lodge your nomination application. Victorian visa nomination is valid for 4 months from the date of the nomination notification email. Within this time period, you will need to lodge an expression of interest to the skill select. Now let us see what are the eligible occupations for Victorian visa nomination. So in engineering and building this field, there are these occupations: civil engineering drafts person. You can see that the minimum IELTS requirement for these occupations is 7 in each band. That is the requirement for English. And also note that minimum work experience is also required. So most of these occupations will need 5 years of work experience. if you want to get the nomination for these occupations. Then in biotechnology and science, we have got mathematicians, agricultural consultant, agricultural scientist, veterinarian. All these occupations are also there, and they will need 6 in each band, and for IELTS, and minimum work experience is 2 years. For veterinarian, 3 years experience is required. Then human resource management, manager, this IELTS is 6 in each band, and minimum work experience is 5. For information and communication technology related occupations, you can see that this minimum IELTS is 7 in each band, and experience is also required, like minimum 3 years for most of the occupations. Applications in the following specializations are not currently accepted. So web designer, help desk operator, help desk manager, these occupations have been removed from this list of occupations. Then tourism and hospitality, chef and hotel or motel manager. You can see that minimum work experience required is 5 years, and IELTS required is 6 in each band. If you talk about health, then for the health information manager, 7 in each band for IELTS, and minimum experience required is 2 years. Midwife, nurse practitioner, registered nurse. So most of these medical related occupations will need 7 in IELTS, 2 years of work experience. For education field, early childhood teacher, 2 years work experience is required, and minimum IELTS is 7.5 overall, and speaking, listening 8, reading 7, writing 7. Must have ACECQA certification. Child care center manager, again 2 years work experience is required, IELTS. Then from the trade section, we have got these occupations. Most of these occupations will need 6 in each band in IELTS, and minimum 5 years of work experience. As per the new changes, the streamlined pathway for 457 visa holders, there are some changes in this. This current 457 streamlined processing pathway has been removed. Eligible 457 visa holders with occupations on the Victorian nomination occupation list may still be eligible. That's it in this video. If you have more questions, let me know through the comments. Thanks for watching this video.